Boxing King Media in association with Boxdraw, Dev Sahni, another successful night for Queensberry Promotions. I got it right first time.
Yes, you said Queensberry Promotions, well done. You've dropped all sorts of previous brand names in the past. But yeah, no, it was good, wasn't it? I mean, Joe Joyce, goodness me. Hammer, probably could have done with a hammer tonight. That's what I thought when I was watching that. He is unbelievable. Christian Hammer was throwing hard right hands. The shots that put other people to sleep seem to just wake Joe Joyce up. I don't understand it. I don't really want to understand it. I just want to see him fight for a world title very soon. And hey, that may be Britain's next world heavyweight champion.
Quite possibly. But before I get into his performance, obviously, initially when you guys were promoting Dubois and Joyce, has that awkwardness gone now? Because obviously it always felt like Joyce might have felt like the second best guy. Do you feel like he now feels like he's one of the main guys at Queensberry Promotions?
I think any doubts would have been put to bed during the Champions League final in front of millions and millions watching. And it wasn't Daniel Dubois featured as part of the main brand advert, it was Joe Joyce. BT are getting behind him, Queensberry are getting behind him. He's WBO number 1, he's WBC number 2. There's nothing like that going on, we're all very happy. And
just a quick mention on the promo for this fight. How good was that?
What, the him in the school? Oh yeah, amazing. I don't know who came up with it. It was someone at BT, but like he gets slagged off for not being able to like talk that much. And you said this to me actually, they've taken that, which is seen as bad, and turned it into a good. And that is a beautiful bit of promotion. I really enjoyed that, and it's good to see him get recognition, good to see him getting out there, and you're tapping into the character of Joe Joyce and getting it out there. It's great, I love it.
Genius move. Now move on to the fight. So he shipped a lot of right hands. Obviously, we was watching it together, he didn't blink, it seemed like he had no effect on him at all. How is he able to do that from like a 20-stone man?
He's a very strange 20-stone man in that sense. That I heard something about his bone density is 1.5 times thicker than your average man. I thought Cole Frampton told me that, but apparently I told him, and apparently I told him it was 5 times. So he's been saying on commentary it's 5 times thicker. I don't know what the actual number is, but I think his bone density is thicker than the average man. He's ridiculous. It's called the Juggernaut. It's for a good reason. It's not nice watching him eat the right hands, and the same thing happened a year ago with Carlos Takam, who I think maybe whacks a bit harder than Hammer. And a Wilder fight would be very difficult to watch if it's someone like Deontay Wilder landing them. But I don't know. He's just different.
Almost like a caveman you've described him as.
Yeah, I think there's caveman qualities about him. He just knows what he is, and he knows that he can take a good whack. He doesn't really like taking them. Apparently, that's what he was telling me. He doesn't really like getting hit. Who does? But good thing is he can give it back. So,
Carl Frampton suggests that if he fights Fury, including Fury as well as anyone, he could beat anybody. Do you believe that as well?
I don't know. I feel as though Tyson Fury is still a level above everyone. Yeah, I don't know. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see Joe Joyce test him. I feel as though Joe Joyce could give Tyson Fury problems, for sure. But Tyson Fury might be an all-time great. I'd love to see the fight.
The only realistic big-name fight I can think of for Joe right now is probably Dillian Whyte, who's a free agent. Do you think you guys could entice him to BT Sports? And if so, how would that fight play out?
I think we can certainly work with Dillian Whyte again. I think he came over and he was treated well, as much as maybe he thought he wasn't going to be. And like in Fight Week, it was actually all very good, and we all had fun. He was even doing stuff with me, as you remember, calling John Fury Steve Bunce. Like he was part of it, part of the promotion. So I don't think there'd be any reason why he wouldn't work with Queensberry again. We've got good fights for him: Joe Joyce, Daniel Dubois. So the question is, would Dillian Whyte take Joe Joyce? I'd say probably wouldn't take him in his next fight. He probably wants to build back up. You don't sort of go from losing to Tyson Fury to then going straight in with the Juggernaut. You might, but I wouldn't advise it if I was his manager. How would I see that fight going? Excellent fight, but you've got to back the Juggernaut. He's just got this relentless Juggernautness. So yeah, I would back Joe Joyce against Dillian Whyte.
Interesting is what Dillian has to say about that. Anything else you want to add, Deb, before I let you go?
Zolani Tete. My goodness, that was a sickening knockout. I think Jason Cunningham's okay, which is the important thing, but Tete had been warning about a knockout like this. He'd been telling everyone all week that this sort of thing was going to happen, and it did. and I'm very excited to see what happens next for him. It's been an emotional time for him. He's lost his mum. Did an interview with him afterwards backstage. He dedicated it to her, of course. Started welling up a little bit. It's an emotional time to be Zolani Tete, and as much as I'm gutted for Jason Cunningham, he can come back. There's Liam Davis, there's Andrew Kane, there's Brad Foster, who probably want to avenge his defeat. There's plenty of guys for him to fight, but I'm very happy for Zolani Tete.
Good man. Like I said, Jason's a lovely bloke, and I hope you guys can potentially bring him back.
Sorry, say that again.
I'm hoping Jason, you could probably bring him back and see what you can do for Zolani next.
Yeah, I mean, Jason, as I say, there's tons of fights. Liam Davis and him had a little thing. That was when Jason Cunningham had the belts. I'm sure it's still a fight that he'd be interested in. Dennis McCann will probably be interested in a fight like that. He's in the right place and in the right division where it's okay to take a loss. And especially at that level, it's okay to take a loss to Zolani Tete in form like that.
Dev, I can sense a cue behind me, so I'm going to let you shift.
It certainly won't. No, not for me. They're not.
Thank you for your time, Dev.